Late into the night, well past midnight, an unsettling incident unfolded on a deserted road, leaving witnesses baffled and deeply unnerved. Out of nowhere, a figure materialized in the center of the road, sending chills down the spines of those who saw it. The eerie event, witnessed under the cover of darkness, has sparked much speculation. Just a few feet from the car, in the midst of the inky blackness, stood what appeared to be a woman. Her disheveled hair framed a haunting silhouette, and she was noticeably barefoot. The officers on the scene were at a loss, unsure if they were dealing with a disoriented individual or something far more inexplicable. What do you think happened here? A pretty unnerving encounter. What began as a routine traffic stop quickly escalated into one of the most unsettling encounters a police officer has ever faced. The incident, captured on body camera footage, sent shockwaves through the entire police department and has since been regarded as one of the most enigmatic videos ever recorded. At first, everything seemed ordinary. The officer requested the driver's license and registration, following standard procedure. But when the officer returned to the patrol car to run the details, something unexplainable occurred.
Your registration is What the? Can I see your driver's license registration, please?
Yeah.
It's not a big deal.
Here's my license, but this is my mom's car, so...
Where are you headed to where you're speeding and missing stop signs?
I was just headed to a friend's house. It's like literally right there. It's
Okay.
a birthday party, so...
Got it.
Not mine, but...
Any drugs or alcohol in the vehicle?
No, of course not.
All right. Sit tight, Sarah. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Your registration is What the?
Sarah?
What the heck?
Sarah?
3201?
Sarah, the driver, vanished without a trace. The dashcam footage reveals no indication of an accomplice assisting in her disappearance. The scene is as eerie as it sounds. Sarah simply ceases to exist. Could this be a glitch in the fabric of reality? From that moment on, Sarah was never seen again. Despite thorough investigation, the police was unable to trace her ID, and her true identity remains shrouded in mystery. Did she slip into another dimension? Or could she have hidden somewhere in the car, evading detection? The questions linger, but the answers remain elusive. Now to another, really old recording, which was captured by a bicycle rider one night, as he was just about to leave a parking garage in the midst of night. After completing his shift, the garage is located in South America. There's no way for ordinary people to enter the garage, since it is restricted to employees only. And the young driver tells us that he heard some creepy noises stemming from the same parking level he was located on. As the young man seems to be fiddling around with his light, it would appear that the shape of a lady can be seen in the distance, casually strolling through the parking garage, which should be impossible. The driver walked around the garage level for a bit, but couldn't find anybody, so he believes that this could actually be a spirit, or something else. This video was captured by an officer who's patrolling an office building at night. He and his colleagues have heard and seen many creepy things in the hallways in the past. And whenever there's something mysterious going on, they start documenting it. Tonight was no exception. The man states that he initially heard someone talking, and the noises were stemming from the elevator area. The man finds no trace of whatever was lurking from behind the elevator wall, but if we take another look at it, it becomes evident that a strange-looking piece of cloth or black shadow seems to be waving towards the man. He is sure that this was something paranormal, and if nobody was pranking him here, maybe he's right. This is a video which was captured by a young man who, as he later found out, was passing by a fatal accident scene. Apparently a couple lost control of their vehicle and flipped the car. The man survived the accident, but apparently the female passenger was less lucky. An ambulance was parked right at the scene, and we can see the two men helping to go through the debris on the road. What struck the person recording it as really unusual, however, was a person in white standing right next to them. On closer inspection, it looks like that an invisible person was wearing a dress. Based on the incident report, there was nobody else besides the two men in blue shirts, so there should have been nobody standing in any kind of dress. Was it perhaps a ghostly apparition? Maybe the passenger? The following was captured by an officer on patrol who was called to this newly built residence because someone was suspecting a break-in. However, they found out that the owners were not home at the time and that nobody else had entered the premises.
At least I know I'm not crazy, because there's definitely somebody standing right there. Now they're gone. Tell me how nuts. And now they're back. You see it? tell me I'm crazy. That's the creepiest I've ever seen in my life. Absolutely not.
It's still being speculated as of what was going on here exactly, if this was just a trick of the eye, or if somebody was hiding so well that even the police couldn't find them. Either that, or we were seeing some ghostly activity here. Now we are taking a look at another really odd dashcam recording, which was taken by a man who was on the way home one night. He tells us that it is pretty uncommon to come across people on that road, since it's very narrow and not intended for pedestrians. It was also very late that night, slimming down the chances that anybody would decide to walk these streets. Nevertheless, he came across a strange woman. The woman seems to be wearing red clothing of some sorts, but she's not carrying any light source, meaning that she must have been walking up that road for hours in pitch darkness. But the man didn't think anything of it and drove past her, only to run into her again a few minutes later. How was that possible? How could the lady be walking up this pitch-black mountain road faster than a car? Of course this is impossible, and the man was sure that he must have captured a ghost that night. To another pretty spooky capture, which was captured by Oscar, who was working as security staff in an old factory. It all started with him seeing strange shadow silhouettes at night, and at this particular one, he saw these things again, which is when he started documenting it. It is uncertain what exactly this black shadow is that our guard is seeing here, but he swears that other people can see her too during the day, and that she even moves around ever so often, making him believe that this shadow being is bound to this storage facility, but who can say? The following case was unfolding in a food court in the midst of night at a closed mall. One of the officers was apparently picking up the sounds of a crying girl from one of the cameras which was situated about the dining area. Then, as one of the patrolling officers is called over to check, he in fact discovers a little girl. However, the girl seems only visible to him. He asks her what she's doing there, to which she answers that she's looking for her mother. He continues to talk to her for a few moments and then leaves the area to pass on the report. You can tell that he seems a bit on edge. especially when his colleagues tell him that nobody was there with him. Very creepy for sure. This video shows a young man who was on his way back home from work the following night. He states that his helm camera always records for security purposes and that this route felt always super spooky to him, especially at night. Apparently, there are many local tales about ghostly hitchhikers that can be seen on some parts of these extremely old roads. And as fate would have it, he might have experienced such an occurrence himself. What's pretty strange is that whatever we are seeing here appeared twice on the road, as some might suggest it could have been just somebody walking on the road. It's not clear why anybody would do this in pitch darkness, but people can be weird. Why our driver would come across this thing twice though seems to maintain a mystery. What's your explanation? The following video was uploaded to the official channel of Policía Nacional de Ecuador, and it stems from a CCTV camera which was situated in the parking garage of one of their local police stations. It starts with one of their security personnel parking the car, then locking it and exiting the parking garage to start his shift. However, something strange will happen next. A very powerful force seems to push the car forward. Without the keys in the ignition, this of course is a very hard thing to do. Many officers are telling stories about eerie encounters they've experienced down there by themselves. So, is it possible that something otherworldly was going on here? The following material shows a team of police officers from Brazil who were called to an abandoned school. Apparently, there were some extremely loud noises and neighbors suspected some intruders in there.
Caralho, bicho, que é isso, mano? Cuidado, Judá. Cuidado, mano. Que é isso, mano? Mano, não tem nada. Caralho, mano. Que é isso, bicho? Caralho, mano. Mano, que é isso, bicho? Caralho, mano, bora, mano. Deus me livre, mano. Vai, mano, vai, mano. Vai, mano, vai, mano. Vai, mano.
It's not a surprise that the squad ran in fear, as they could not explain this strange phenomenon, as they had to witness the door slamming with a considerate amount of force, although nobody was even in this old building except them. Another unsolved case to this day. Was it a ghost? The following had been shared by a young man from Australia. He states that he was just taking a road through a forest area and that he heard pretty unsettling screams. And what makes all of it worse is that he saw a creature running in between the trees at the time and even popping up in front of his car. In shock, he brought the car to a stop for whatever reason and recorded the following. A pale figure is making its way over the road, and it looks quite awkward, to be honest. This could have been a regular person, perhaps trying to scare the cars that were passing by. However, based on the driver's report that he saw this thing running through the bushes and even passing him once, make this theory a bit unrealistic, but who can say for sure? This video was uploaded by Moto2Wrist, who was riding his bicycle on a deserted mountain road one night. This road is situated in Hampi, which is also referred to as the Ghost City. He was on a day trip to the Ghost City, and after spending many hours there, he made his way back to the resort. However, due to the darkness, he missed a turn and got lost for a while on these dark roads. He was pretty unnerved, and there was no sign of any civilization. At this point in time, he tells us that he saw a woman who was dressed like a bride walking on the side of the road. It does appear to be a woman in a white dress that is walking in pitch darkness, and I feel like she looks pregnant perhaps, but that of course could also just be her weirdly shaped dress. So if this wasn't just a confused woman, what else could it be? Maybe a spirit? What a scary thought. The next video was shared by two officers from Argentina who were working security that night. They were checking the different security cameras that were mounted around the premises. Apparently, there had been a terrifying incident unfolding the night before, and the two officers were hoping that one of the cameras might have captured this incident. At first, it appeared that they weren't in luck, but eventually came across a really spooky sight.
Se ve mejor. Fíjate. Ajá. Se fue. Para que si veamos cuando sigamos, para que vean de que no, si alguien puede ver que se va, no se va. Y ahí lo entramos. Ahí se ve como una calavera. Aparece, ajá. Y desapareció. Desapareció, desapareció y desapareció.
Ahí se aparece como una calavera.
we can see a person that seems to be smoking something. However, the flames are just so massive and the whole encounter just doesn't feel right. But what's even more is the woman suddenly just disappearing into thin air, not to be seen again. And then, based on many comments, the lingering smoke seems to be forming the shape of a skull. How eerie. It is unclear what exactly had transpired here, but it left the officers extremely unsettled. The next video was a submission and was supposedly filmed by the dashcam of a police cruiser. The officer on patrol was Ben Malik. Didn't expect to see anything extraordinary that night. However, this should change rather quickly. After driving for a while, the officer notices a strange person in the left side of the road, and it seemed that they had started a fire. Of course, this was more than reason enough to pull over for him. Based on his reports, the woman seemed to have a burning face, which the man could not explain in the slightest. And this is another case for which most people simply don't have an answer for. The man believes that the woman was performing a ritual of some sorts, and it is stated that he arrested the mysterious woman shortly after. Who knows what exactly this dashcam had recorded here? What do you think was going on? This was also captured by two officers who were driving on a lonely road in Russia. And they noticed a dark creature walking on the right side of the road. Their first instinct? Bigfoot, of course. It had to be. So they exited their car and followed this thing, only to see it disappear into the forest area. But perhaps this was something else entirely. The footage is not the best, so we can only speculate what had transpired here. The following was captured by a woman who was driving home in the midst of night, and she took her regular forest route. She states that out of nowhere, a female-looking creature ran out of the bushes and was coming to a stop right in front of her car, and she had no idea how to react at first. What this is exactly, your guess is as good as mine. Either somebody with a death wish was blocking the road in this creepy pose, or something I couldn't fully explain. Now a recording from an officer that was patrolling the wing of an older airport, which supposedly was completely abandoned at the time. He He wasn't the first person to have seen and heard really odd things going on there, especially the washroom areas were notorious for inexplicable noises. Tonight, he documented these weird happenings.
Aquí, en este pasillo, hay un baño. En este pasillo hay un baño. Hay un baño de mujeres. En este pasillo hay un baño de mujeres. A esta hora hay un fantasma juguetón que juega con las llaves de lavamanos. Ahí está. Este es el baño. Ese es el baño. Y como ustedes se pueden dar cuenta, están las luces apagadas. Ay, qué miedo. No hay nadie. No hay nadie, no hay nadie, no hay un alma aquí abajo. No tiene por qué haberla. Y en este baño menos. Sin embargo, allí está el fantasma jugando con la llave del agua. Es obviamente una mujer, bueno, a menos que sea. Me voy a acercar poco a poco. Está oscuro, man. Se prenden las luces por mi presencia. ¿Sí ven? Se paró. Se quedó quieto. Dale pues. Sigue jugando. ¿Por qué te para? Mira. Hola. Hola, hola. ¿Estás acá? ¿Dónde estás? Se prenden las luces. ¿Estás jugando con la llave? ¿Ah? ¿Estás jugando con la llave? ¿Ah? Necesito otra prueba. Necesito otra prueba. ¡Ay, marica!
It appears that this spirit seems to be pretty smart, even responding to our guard here and proving him wrong. Maybe there's a reason for its presence. Some say it wants to be noticed. Could this be? Whatever the answer, it's pretty eerie. This infamous video is known to many as the ghost car. A mysterious driver who was trying to escape police that night vanished into thin air.
This mysterious driver tricks cops into thinking he's about to pull over, then all hell breaks loose. The officers watching this tape get only a quick glimpse of the man behind the wheel. It's the last look they'll get. For a moment, it appears as if the driver and his car have disappeared into thin air. But in the blink of an eye, the driver comes into view again. This time, he tries to outrun the police rather than just vanish. His moves are still baffling to the police as he swerves all over the road, driving like a man possessed. And just when he's really thrown the cops for a loop, he gets back on a straightaway, showing off a seemingly supernatural speed.
We're still approaching S16.
In just a moment, he's going to make a turn into the Twilight Zone. Watch. The fence at the end means no way out, or does it?
To this day, it's still unexplained how this car could make it through this wire fence and escape the police cruisers. Some people claim that the car drove through an opening in the fence that wasn't captured on camera, and that this whole thing is not more than just a hoax. However, this theory has never been proven, and while this could definitely be the case, it remains a ghostly mystery and one of the most infamous dashcam videos known to man.
Or does it?
This was captured by another officer who was just about to enter town on their way back home, when they encountered something quite eerie, something transparent crossing the road. Some people think that it could be the spirit of someone who passed on at this intersection. Or was it just a weird reflection after all? The following video was recorded by CCTV and captured by security in an old nightclub, as the officer was checking the surveillance after closing hours, and when nobody was supposed to be in the building anymore, they noticed that something was quite amiss. Apparently a child might have made their way into the closed club.
Oh my god. I'm so scared. That's crazy. Oh my god. What is it? It actually looks like it's walking, doesn't it?
Now, for the staff, it's without a doubt that this was the statue of a small child, and that this probably must have been a visiting spirit. Of course, we also have to be open to other explanations, like the reflection of some cobwebs, for example. But yet, this is certainly a mysterious capture, whatever the exact reason for this. This was caught by two family members who state that they drove past the house in their neighborhood and that they saw something creepy sitting on their roof, something that wasn't supposed to be there. They checked the next morning again to see if this thing was still there, but it was mysteriously vanished. They asked Paranormal Reddit for help, but most people were as clueless as the two uploaders. Now a recording from an officer. Based on his report, he saw a black small figure running on the road and then disappearing, and his camera captured the following. Could this be an animal? Maybe a shadow that was being cast from somewhere else? Maybe it was an unidentified creature after all? If not, maybe the people who say that this was something paranormal are right. I couldn't say. These recordings stem from a young security officer who was working the graveyard shift in a hospital in Chile, and he was responsible for keeping the place safe at night during the ongoing renovations. But he states that human intruders weren't the only thing that he was concerned about. He saw and heard some really inexplicable things during his shifts, and eventually started recording them.
Creo que el sonido vino de por acá, me parece. Hola. Vamos a seguir mejor. Apaga la linterna. Aquí no hay nada. Conche su madre. La wea de dónde. Mejor voy a salir luego de acá. Zoom me está fallando, pero ahí sí. Los pasillos de acá. Los de ahí al fondo. Como pueden ver, allí está todo normal. Así que vamos a seguir explorando por aquí. A ver si es que encontramos alguna cosa interesante. Conchetumare. Conchetumare, ¿no? ¿Qué es esa wea, conchetumare? ¿Quién está ahí? Conche tu madre, pues. ¿Quién está ahí? Conche su madre. Conche tu madre. ¿Quién anda ahí? ¿Qué hueá fue eso?
There is without a doubt some really creepy shadow sightings that nobody has any explanation for. What do you think is going on here?